American borrowers are getting close to maxing out their credit cards as both credit card spending and credit card balances have reached a new all time high. What exactly is everyone spending their money on? And just how much longer can we expect this to last? In conjunction with that, the math for people who are seeking to buy a home no longer makes sense in much of this country. We're going to talk about why and my prediction in 2024 for how I expect things to start changing. Now, despite record rate increases in the mortgage and a record slowdown in people who are seeking to buy a home, Florida home prices continue to go up, with South Florida leading the charge. And finally, we're going to end today's discussion with a South Florida local hangout. Local hangouts are areas in Palm Beach I choose to showcase to give people a little taste of South Florida. Hey everyone, my name is Kelly Ogisoba. I'm a licensed realtor down here in Palm Beach, here to be your trusted source for real estate and market related news. And this is the Jaguar and Cream production.
Quando a saudade bater, cê vai chorar, vai beber, vai ligar, querendo voltar.
DJ Lucas Beats.
Eu vou falar que não quero, beijando sua boca, falar que te odeio, tirando sua roupa, mas em quatro paredes, num quarto escuro, você vai ouvir o eu te amo por segundo. Eu vou falar que não quero, beijando sua boca, falar que te odeio, tirando sua roupa, mas em quatro paredes, num quarto escuro, você vai ouvir o eu te amo por segundo. Por segundo.
Hey everyone, thanks so much for tuning in. If you're new to this channel, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay up to date with my latest videos. I wish you all a Merry Christmas, and I hope you all have a very Happy New Year. We're going to start off today's discussion by talking about a very interesting topic. This is the topic of the American consumer spending levels. As the Wall Street Journal puts it, Americans are spending like there's no tomorrow. Concerts, trips, designer handbags are all taking priority over saving for a home or a rainy day. Now, with interest rates sitting at a 2-decade high, core inflation still sitting at a stubborn 4%, and the pandemic savings bump having all but dried up, you would expect consumers would begin to ratchet down their spending. But you'd be wrong. In fact, the exact opposite trend is happening. A good story about consumer spending can be found with Ibi Hussein. Ibi is a young fellow who lives in Brooklyn, New York with his fiance, renting an apartment for $3,000 a month that would typically cost $1 million to buy, after a $200,000 down payment. And he says it's not even that nice of an apartment. Instead of saving down for an apartment like he expected to after turning 30 and getting engaged, he decided to buy $1,600 Taylor Swift Era Tour tickets, then spent another $3,500 on a bachelor party trip to Ibiza, Spain. He says, I might as well just enjoy what I have now. Now, another story can be seen by a couple of Lindsay and Daryl Bradshaw. This couple went into credit card debt to finance a vacation to Maui this past spring. The trip cost $10,000, including 3 $1,000 last-minute plane tickets. They say, quote, we did not have the money and we were like, let's just do this anyway. I found that we have a story here by the Richner family. The Richner family decided to sell their Columbus, Ohio home to travel the country with their 2 young children. They say, and I quote, I'm not going to worry about money anymore. I don't have it anymore. So it looks like Americans have reached a breaking point with regards to how long they can actually practice delayed gratification. So American borrowers are getting closer to maxing out, says the Wall Street Journal. Credit card utilization is up. Delinquency rates are on the rise. We can see here since 2021 to 2022, we've had a spike in delinquency rates. If we look at credit card utilization, we see the same trend starting around the same time in 2021 into 2022. And finally, we can see here the credit card balances have basically topped $1 trillion. Now, you might be concerned about the credit card balances and the delinquency rates. But when we look at what's happening with the economy, the unemployment rate is still below 4%. In fact, we just added 200,000 new jobs back into the US economy. So, as long as things stay this way, we should be okay, but if things start to head south, it'll be felt quite strongly by American families. Now, what is going on with home prices? Home prices somehow have reached yet another historic high. So we see here by the Wall Street Journal, home prices hit fresh record in September of this past year. The National Home Price Index rose 3.9% from the year prior. Home prices rose to a new record in September due to a shortage of homes for sale, even as high interest rates made home purchases less affordable. The September level was the highest level since the index began in 1987. 1987. Since this began, we have never had prices this high. And the reason why the price is so high is because the supply is so low. People don't want to sell. But the people who've already bought homes who locked in a mortgage rate of 2%, 3%, 4%, they don't want to sell and then buy into homes at a mortgage rate of 6%, 7%, 8%. CBS News reports homes are now unaffordable in 99% of the nation for the average American. The researchers examined the median home prices last year for roughly 575 US counties and found that home prices in 99% of those areas are simply beyond the reach for the average income earner who makes just north of $71,000 a year. The National Association of Realtors Housing Affordability Index, we look at the level where it is right now, this seems to be the lowest level since 1990. So we have prices at a record high. We have the affordability of homes at the worst point that it's been in almost 30 years, 40 years. And finally, to make matters worse, let's take a look at this chart. This is the chart that shows the cost of renting a home and the cost of owning a home. The red line shows the cost of owning a home. What happened after the pandemic in 2022? This line shoots up. So at this point, only two things can happen. Either the red line is going to come back down, right? Because more people will simply be pushed into renting, so the homeowners will be forced into dropping the price of their homes so the people who are renting can buy them, or the rental line needs to come up to match the cost of homeownership. Now, given the fact that Americans are already financially strained as it is, we wouldn't expect rental income to shoot up to the price of the cost of actually owning a home, right? Americans are already stressed as it is financially. So we would actually expect the cost of home ownership to come down to the rental line, That's actually what we would expect. And this can happen in two ways. One way is for supply of homes to hit the market. Another way for prices to drop, or at least the cost of home ownership to drop, would be if the Fed started decreasing interest rates, which the Fed has signaled on doing. The Fed has begun to make a pivot, or at least signaled they're going to make a pivot next year in 2024 into cutting rates. Officials don't rule out further rate hikes while penciling in 3 rate cuts in 2024. Now, what is going on in Florida? In Florida, we see the median sale price of homes is $413,000, up 3.3% from a year ago. So Florida home prices have continued to go up. Now, when we dig into the numbers a little bit, and we look at South Florida, we see that the South Florida homes are going up 10% from a year ago. The median sale price for a South Florida home, we're looking at $605,000. $605,000. And when we dig into Palm Beach County, homes are up about 6.2% from a year ago as of November 2023, with the median sale price looking at $600,000. So this tells us that home prices are going up across the United States. Home prices are going up, in particularly in Florida, and in South Florida, they seem to be going up the most, and we seem to have the highest priced homes down here in South Florida. In Palm Beach County, we see that cash sales are up about 4% from the year prior. And if you look at how many homes are actually bought that are pure cash versus a mortgage, we see that it's nearly half. And there's a lot more wealthier buyers here who can afford to buy a home. Nearly half of them are buying it just in cash. Inventory supply is up about 18% than the year prior. Our inventory has basically been growing down here in Palm Beach since the end of 2021 into 2022. And we believe ultimately this will eventually have a decrease and a downward pull on the pricing for homes down here as the inventory begins to creep up. All right, guys, that is it for the news. We are now going to make our way to our South Florida local hangout. We are going to Texas de Brazil. Texas de Brazil is a nice steakhouse restaurant here in Palm Beach Gardens. We're very excited to check it out, and I want to show you guys what we have in store. Welcome everyone, we made it. We're at Texas de Brazil. This is a Brazilian steakhouse, a churrascaria where you have all you can eat meats. We're talking steak, lamb, bacon, ribs, chicken, all of the above. They have it here at Texas de Brazil. Let's go inside and see what we have in store. Everyone, we just got through the salad bar. We got our plate ready. So let's take a look at what we got going here. We've got some delicious lobster bisque. We have here obviously some rice and beans. I threw in some bacon because you gotta have the bacon. We've got all you can eat meat. So I started off with some spicy picanha and some flank steak here. We got a little piece of chicken. We topped everything off with some falafel. We got some mozzarella balls, and finally we also have here the vinaigrette cheese. To finish off the night, we're gonna finish off with some caipirinha. All right, so let's dig in here. All right, let's give it a bite. You can see here, look at the steak. Just the way we like it, medium rare. It's very juicy. Blessed by the best.
Baby, oh yeah, make we do paradise, that me and you. Baby, 1+1 now you. Only when you chop out you.